It started with laughter. The kind that burns worse than words. 12-year-old Emily Parker sat at the back of her 7th grade classroom, gripping her notebook like a shield. Her math teacher had asked the class to share something unique about their families. Kids talked about dads who were lawyers, moms who baked award-winning pies, uncles who played in local bands. When it was Emily's turn, her voice trembled but carried pride. "My mom, she's a Navy SEAL." For half a second, silence fell. Then it broke, sharp and cruel. "Girls can't be SEALs," a voice snorted. "That's not even possible," another jeered. "You're such a liar." The words stung, each one slicing deeper. Even the teacher's uneasy smile was more disbelief than support. Emily sank into her seat, her cheeks burning. She wanted to shout, to argue, but what was the point? Nobody believed her. At lunch, things only got worse. Her tray was, accidentally, bumped, spilling milk across the table. Laughter echoed again, and whispers followed her out the cafeteria door. Liar. Faker. Attention seeker. But what they didn't know, what Emily refused to let their cruelty erase, was that her mom was a SEAL. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Parker had spent years in the shadows, missions classified, training brutal. To Emily, she wasn't just a soldier. She was mom. She was the one who braided her hair before school, who left handwritten notes tucked into lunchboxes, who hummed lullabies even with calloused hands that had gripped rifles in deserts far away. That night, Emily cried silently into her pillow, wishing she had never spoken at all. The next day, the teasing didn't stop. It only grew sharper, bolder. Emily walked into class to see a crude drawing taped to the board. Stick figures of men in camouflage, one with long hair labeled, "Emily's mom." Beneath it, "SEAL? More like sea lion." The laughter roared again. Emily's teacher tried to intervene, but the damage was done. Her stomach twisted with shame. She wanted to disappear. It was during that humiliation that the unthinkable happened. A sudden thunder of boots shook the hallway. The classroom door slammed open with a force that rattled the windows. The air filled with the bark of commands. In poured a squad of uniformed Navy SEALs, gear strapped tight, weapons slung but controlled, faces grim and sharp as steel. Gasps rippled through the room. Chairs scraped as kids shrank back, wide-eyed. The once cocky bullies fell silent, their laughter choking in their throats. And at the center of that storm, helmet tucked under her arm, eyes blazing with calm fire, stood Emily's mom. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Parker. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then Sarah's gaze locked onto her daughter. Her expression softened, just slightly. "Emily," she said, her voice carrying authority and warmth all at once, "you forgot your lunch." A stunned hush blanketed the room. The bullies' faces drained of color. The teacher's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Nobody dared breathe. Emily's heart hammered in her chest, but this time, it wasn't from shame, it was pride. The SEALs didn't stay long. They weren't there to make a spectacle. It was part of a coordinated exercise at the base nearby, a drill that happened to route through the school for demonstration. But the timing, whether coincidence or fate, was perfect. Sarah handed Emily her lunch bag with a quiet smile. For a fleeting second, her calloused hand brushed Emily's cheek, a silent reassurance. "I've got you." Then, as quickly as they had arrived, the unit filed out, leaving behind a room that would never see her the same way again. The silence that followed was deafening. No one laughed, no one whispered. For the first time in days, Emily felt seen, truly seen. But the story didn't end there. After class, one of the boys who had mocked her lingered by the lockers. His name was Ryan, usually the loudest voice in the chorus of ridicule. This time, he kept his eyes low, shuffling awkwardly. "My dad," he muttered, voice cracking, "he left last year. He said he was going to come back, but he didn't. I thought you were making stuff up too." Emily blinked, surprised. Behind his bravado, Ryan wasn't cruel, he was hurting. She didn't know what to say, but she didn't turn away either. "It's real," she whispered. "She's real." Ryan nodded once, still not meeting her eyes. Then he walked off, slower than usual, his shoulders heavier. Days passed, and something shifted. The teasing stopped. The whispers faded. A few kids even started asking Emily questions. Not the mocking kind, but curious ones. "What's it like having a mom like that? Is she ever scared? Do you get scared?" Emily answered carefully, holding on to the balance between pride and privacy. She didn't share classified details, of course, But she shared stories about pancakes burned at 5 a.m. before deployments, about video calls from distant time zones, about the hug that always lasted just a little longer when her mom came home safe. And slowly, the laughter was replaced with respect. The true turning point came a week later, during gym class. A relay race was being set up, and Emily, never the fastest runner, was picked last. She tried not to care, but the sting was familiar. The race began, and her team lagged behind. When it was Emily's turn, she clutched the baton and ran with everything she had. Halfway down the track, her foot caught, and she stumbled hard. Gasps filled the gym. She scraped her knee, the pain sharp and hot. For a moment, the old shame threatened to swallow her whole. But then, something remarkable happened. Ryan, on the opposite team, broke ranks. He jogged over, offered her a hand, and helped her up. "You okay?" he asked. Emily hesitated, then nodded. "Come on," he said. "Finish it." Together, they jogged the rest of her leg of the race. Their teams stared, confused, but something more powerful than winning had taken place. That small act of kindness spread like wildfire. Kids who once sneered now offered quiet encouragement. Someone clapped when Emily crossed the line. Someone else shouted, "Good job." It wasn't about the race anymore, it was about humanity. That night, Emily told her mom everything: the laughter, the humiliation, the storming entrance, and finally, Ryan's unexpected kindness. Sarah listened quietly, her arm wrapped around her daughter. "You know," Sarah said softly, "strength doesn't always come from fighting. Sometimes, it comes from standing with someone when they're down. You showed that today, and so did he." Emily leaned into her, the warmth of her mother's words sinking deep. For the first time, she realized the truth. Her mom's greatest strength wasn't just in missions or uniforms. It was in compassion, in showing up for people. Even when the world didn't believe in you. And so, the girl they once called a liar became something more. She became a reminder that sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought on foreign soil, but in classrooms, cafeterias, and quiet moments where kindness can change everything. The memory of boots thundering through that school would never fade. Neither would the pride in her mother's eyes, or the lesson learned that day. Because in that one moment, when the SEALs stormed the room, every doubt was silenced. And in the days that followed, kindness filled the space that cruelty left behind. And Emily Parker would never, ever be called a liar again.